Greetings everyone, we're doing spirituality this month. Part 1, the inner world. Next month we're going to do part 2, where we look more about how the inner world affects the outer world, because as above so below, as within so without. So I'm going to do a quick fire round on these questions, because we're going to go into them in more depth on the actual podcast. It's the first time where the promo questions and the questions for the show are the same. So question number 1 is, how does taking care of our physical health impact spirituality? So I'm dealing with that right now. I've been in quite a bit of distress with a physical condition that I've had for now nearly 2 months. And when it started, I also had the flu or COVID or something. So it was like a double whammy. It's been intense. For me, with this circumstance, the physical side of things has forced me closer to spirit, closer to the spiritual world, because it's forced me further inside of myself. And I have really been able to take a really close look at myself, assessment of myself, which I don't think I'd have been able to do have I not been dealing with this physical issue right now. So physical and spiritual are closely interlinked. What does working on spiritual health look like for me? Meditation, prayer, writing, singing, dancing, cooking, creativity, mindfulness. Spirituality for me at this point in time for me of my life is just being, really. You do have to work on your spiritual practice. You do need to work on it, but I also think that there's a place that you get to within self where it can feel like, if you're mindful and you're doing, certain practices. I'm not saying I'm all the way there with everything, but I feel like I live a spiritual existence. So spiritual practice for me is pretty much everything throughout the course of the day. Next question is, how do I stay motivated when the work becomes difficult? The work is rewarding. I'm an optimistic person. I don't find the work difficult. What I find challenging is the distractions. The distractions on some level do trigger me. And I have to change that mode of thinking, to be honest, because mind creates reality. But it bothers me that there would be people or forces or whatever that are that determined to bring people's vibration down. And some of the wickedness that I see online and in films and things like that, and it's subtle wickedness, and when you listen to certain people, they would say the devil works really hard to do that. It's not in your face and obvious, it's subtle, and it's, if you're not intelligent enough, or if you haven't got the intuition or the life experience, you're not going to see it. And it's easy to fool people and easy to fool children. But I think what helps me balance that out is knowing that the Most High is in everything. So if this is happening, it's happening because it needs to happen. And it's a contrast, and it reveals parts of ourselves through the contrast. So that's how I stay motivated when the work is difficult. I don't really find the work itself difficult. It's more living in this world when you've done the work. How do you know that you've made spiritual progress? And that kind of relates to my last answer. The tests and the challenges, and I've got some of them going on right now as well, where in truth, I just want to say some expletives to some people. And tell them to come out my space and come out my life. But the circumstance that I'm in, I can't do that. I have to actually interact with these people. that are lying to my face, lying on, records that they keep that I have to read and respond to or whatever. And that's a challenge for me. But I know I've made spiritual progress when I'm able to handle these situations. It is the Most High, the universe, testing me, and I know that. And it's only through passing the test that I can see that I've grown. But also, the Most High knows I don't like these tests. I just want to be peaceful. I want to live on a farm or whatever, right? And cook food and tend to I don't know about tending to animals because I ain't really an animal person, but I do like nature. I do like cooking. I do like communion and that kind of thing. And, I have fantasies of sitting around a fireside, a big community where we all sit around the fireside and sing songs and someone's playing guitars and people are dancing and, all that sort of stuff. That's really how I want to live my life. I don't want to engage in this matrix and some of these agencies and the Mr. Smiths of this reality. But that's how I know I've made progress, when I come up against these agents and they're going on wicked and bad and the lowest vibration, and I'm able to not tell them to go F themselves. That's when I know I've made that's Kaz making progress, when I can actually talk to them with some kind of manners and hold it down. So I've definitely made progress, and that's it really. So we'll go into all of this in more depth shortly. We are going to be meeting in just over an hour to do the actual podcast, and that'll be out on Monday. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation. See you later.